Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 16th of August, now it's 7:30 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day, in which I'll share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Second update will be a little bit late in the afternoon, in which I will share additional news that will be reported by Russian media during the day. That being said, let's talk about news now, and I will start with the short summary of the situation on the front line. First of all, I will report about yet another missile and drone strike that was conducted by Russian armed forces to neutralize logistical and military infrastructure of Zelensky and his associates, Kiev regime. And this time, main direction of strike was Odessa region. And according to latest news, during the previous night, Russian forces did targeted logistical infrastructure and some warehouses in cities of Reni and Ismail. These cities are located on the Danube bank. Danube, of course, is a river. And this is, by the way, Reni, and this is Ismail here. Small cities, but very important because, as I said, they are located right on the bank of Danube River, and these ports were used by NATO member states and by Zelensky and his associates to transfer military weapons and ammunition from NATO members to Zelensky and his associates. And I guess that was one of the major reasons that these port cities were targeted. As I mentioned, by the way, these cities are on the Danube River, right next to Romania. So these strikes not just highlights good intelligence in Russian hands, but also confidence of Russia that is not afraid to conduct strikes right next to, in a few hundred meters from border of NATO member states. During the day, we will of course learn some more about damage that was done in Reni and Ismail, but I guess some infrastructure of ports itself were destroyed, and also possibly some warehouses where Zelensky and his gang was hiding or storing some military equipment and ammunition. Now let's go through sectors of the front. First of all, Kherson region. No significant changes. It's mainly artillery duels between the sides and local scale skirmishes, especially to establish control over these small islands on the Dnieper River and delta of this river. There was some report that Russian special forces did conduct some cleaning operation on the left bank of the Dnieper in close vicinity from Kazachий Lager settlement. I guess during the day we will receive some video and photo confirmation of this, but overall situation is operational pause. Nothing is happening that will influence entire sector. Next is Zaporozhye and South Donetsk sectors. Here we have two main hotspots, of course. First, in Zaporozhye sector is Rabotina settlement here, and according to latest news, this settlement is disputed between the sides. There is no clear understanding of what is happening in this settlement and around it right now, because many reports are contradicting each other. But as I understand, the northern part of this settlement is under at least partial control of Ukrainian forces. Central part of the settlement is kind of gray zone, and southern part is controlled by Russian forces. I would not be surprised if in few hours time we will learn that Russian side did conduct offensive operation, local scale offensive during the night. There is no such reports for this time, by the way, but we may receive some additional news in next couple of hours that there was some local scale offensive from Russian side and settlement become under full Russian control again. But let's wait and see. And by the way, Rabotna is quite important, because if Ukrainian side did manage to establish control over the settlement, well, in that case we can say that after more than 2 months, it's the third month of this so-called Ukrainian counteroffensive, Ukrainian armed forces finally did manage to reach first line of defense of Russian armed forces on this land bridge between Crimea and mainland Russia. When it comes to South Donetsk sector, main hotspot is of course Vremovsky Ledge or salient. These two settlements, Staromayorskaya and Urozhaina, and according to latest news, there's no significant changes. This settlement is mainly under control of Ukrainian forces, at least under operational control, but because Russian side are able to hit any point in that settlement from artillery or ITGMs, I will say this settlement is in gray zone right now. Well, Ukrainian side, despite heavy losses, did manage to force Russian military personnel out of this settlement, which is a local scale success for Ukrainian side. But when you take into account how many lives Ukrainian army lost for this, and how many military equipment was destroyed, how many Ukrainian military equipment was destroyed by Russian side during these clashes in this area, well, one may say this was a disaster for Ukrainian army. But anyway, I guess next few days there will be some operational pause in this local hotspot. And once Ukrainian side will reinforce their armed groups in this area, we will probably see continuation of Ukrainian local scale offensive operations in this area. But overall situation is deadlock on South Donetsk sector of the front line also, and nothing is happening that will influence entire sector. Next is the South Donetsk direction. Here, of course, we have several hotspots on the left, on the southern flanks, and on the northern flanks. When it comes to southern sides, Marinka, Krasnogorovka, and Avdiivka directions are main ones, of course. Some local scale skirmishes, fierce battles, and artillery duels. But yet again, it's operational pause, and no one side is managing to achieve any breakthrough, although Russian side is quite close to achieve breakthrough in Avdiivka direction in recent days. But let's see how the situation develop further. When it comes to northern flank of Donetsk direction, of course it's Bakhmut, and flanks of the Bakhmut, well, northern flank of Bakhmut is under full Russian control. Initiative is in Russian hands for a long time now, and Ukrainian forces aren't even trying nowadays to conduct any more or less significant local scale offensive operation. And basically similar situation is happening or repeating itself in the southern flanks of Bakhmut, because after 2 months, let's say, after previous 2 months attacks, local scale attacks of Ukrainian forces to achieve any success in this area and at least partially encircle Bakhmut or Artyomovsk, Ukrainian forces were quite unsuccessful, one should notice. And more than that, Russian side did regain initiative, and now it's Russian forces that are conducting this local scale offensive operation. And I will mention once again that during the battles in southern flank of Bakhmut, Ukrainian forces lost about 2 brigades. 2 brigades were decimated by Russian forces, and these 2 brigades had to be pulled out from the front line to reinforce and to get some reinforcement, additional ammunition, and so on, to become more or less battle capable. And when it comes to northern sectors of the front, yet again, nothing is happening that will influence overall situation on this sector. Initiative is in totally is in Russian hands. Russian side is dictating terms in this area, and main question when it comes to northern sectors is when Russian Defense Ministry will greenlight a large-scale offensive operation of Russian forces in direction of Liman, in direction of Kupiansk, and the entire Kharkov region, basically. So this is it for short summary. By the way, if you are interested in Russian Defense Ministry's briefing about previous 24 hours, I did share some information in my yesterday's second update, and also I did share information on my Telegram page, and you can check that also. Now let's go through some other news, and RIA Novosti is reporting that according to Ukrainian media, Russian side during the previous night did conduct strikes, missile and drone strikes in direction of Izmail and Reni, as I just reported a few minutes ago. First of all, when it comes to these particular strikes, I will once again mention confidence on Russian side to conduct strikes right next to border with NATO member state. Because, by the way, these two cities are located on a Danube River, and one bank of Danube River is Odessa region of Ukraine, and other bank of Danube River is Romania. So during the day, I'm quite sure we will receive additional news about exactly what was targeted and how successfully, and of course I will share this additional news on my second update and on Telegram page. Now, report from TASS news agency, according to which in early hours of this morning, Russian air defense systems did manage to shut down three Ukrainian drones in Kaluga region. And by the way, if we take a look on Kaluga region, it's here, by the way, it's this area, and it's quite close to Moscow region, and I guess these three drones were directed towards Moscow. I may be mistaken, but I guess these three drones were directed towards Moscow, but Russian air defense systems did locate them, track them, and destroy them, which is great. But unfortunately, no one can say that this is the last time when Zelensky and his associates did try to hit deep inside Russian territory with the long-range weapons that they have because of this constant flow of money, technology, and weapons from NATO member states, which is quite unfortunate. Let's continue now, and TASS news agency is reporting that according to head of NGO, Russian NGO from Zaporozhye region, we are together with Russia, Vladimir Rogov. According to Rogov, Russian frontline aviation was extremely active during the previous 24 to 48 hours. There were not just helicopters, but also frontline bombers that were dropping FAB 500 aerial bombs. And Rogov is mentioning that this activity was especially noticeable in area of Urozhaine settlement. Well, probably that's the case. I'm not doubting that Russian frontline aviation was and is very active on the front line, but when it comes to Urozhaine, by the way, unfortunately, Ukrainian side was able still to establish at least partial control or operational control over these settlements, and Russian forces are now on the outskirts of the settlement from the southern side. But yet again, this area of Removsky Ledge is not even on the first line of defense of Russian forces, and I did not see any significant breakthrough on Ukrainian side by establishing control on this settlement. Let's continue now, and RIA Novosti is reporting that, well, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Yesterday afternoon, information began circulate on Russian segment of internet, and I guess worldwide, that one of the high-ranking officials of NATO, and let me be more precise, head of I will translate status of this person to be more precise. So, head of the Office of Secretary General of the North Atlantic Alliance, Stein Jensen, yes, that's it, did stated that Ukraine may become a part of NATO, may join NATO, if Kyiv will agree to lose some territories. I guess this is the first time when current official of NATO or Western world is making such a statement, and I don't think this person, Stian Jensen, made such a statement by mistake, or he did not knew what he was talking about. Probably we are now seeing beginning of this campaign in the West, and beginning of creation of a narrative that Ukraine should give up some territory to become part of NATO. And by the way, question is, of course, I did share this information on my Telegram yesterday afternoon, and I did comment there too, that the question is, will Moscow agree to such a proposal, let's say? I think no. Moscow will not agree, and if Ukraine ever will join NATO, it will be not a state of Ukraine, but only western regions of this country, in my opinion. Because, as I said many times before, once this conflict will end, entire Ukraine, I'm 99% sure that entire Ukraine, with the exception of western regions of that failed state, will be controlled by Russia. And I will leave just 1% chance, slight chance, that Ukraine as a state may exist after this conflict will end as a landlocked state with capital of Kiev and surrounding few regions. But as I said, just a slight chance of that, because I believe Moscow has no reason to agree in anything less than full control over entire Ukraine, with the exception of western regions of this failed state. And by the way, yesterday, former president of Russian Federation and current deputy chairman of Security Council did say basically exactly that. He said that when he was commenting on this initiative from Stian Jensen, Medvedev said that, well, entire territory of Ukraine is disputed, if we are serious about it, and even Kiev, because Kiev was a capital of Kievan Rus, isn't it? And that statement, in my understanding, was a clear message from Moscow that for Russia, it's, for Russia, entire Ukraine has to be controlled by Moscow, maybe with small exception of western regions. Otherwise, by the way, just imagine if even some small landlocked territory did remain as a quasi-state under the name of Ukraine. It will be, of course, no matter how many guarantees Western elites gonna give to Russia that this so-called state will remain neutral and so on, of course that state will be controlled by West and be used against Russia constantly and one day Moscow may be forced again to conduct yet another military operation. So why leaving behind a mine that can explode anytime? So that's why I think for Russia this proposal, let's say from NATO or Western elites, is unacceptable, I guess. And by the way, some statements was made in Kiev also, and if anyone asking their opinion in Kiev, really, because no one cares what Zelensky and his associates have to say, but anyway, Kiev did react on this statement, and they said that for Kiev it's unacceptable to give up on any territories in exchange of joining NATO. And this was said by Podolyaka, I believe, advisor to President's office in Ukraine, and also Oleg Nikolenko, official representative of Ukraine's foreign ministry, did made such a statement. But yet again, who cares about opinions of Kiev regime? I mean, it's nobody, really. Let's continue now. And RT is reporting that Germany to bankroll Ukraine's militaries for years to come. Quite a statement from Berlin. And according to this report, Germany will provide Ukraine with $5.5 billion in annual military aid. Forbes Ukraine reported on Monday, citing German's finance minister Christian Lindner. During his first official visit to Kiev since the start of the special military operation, this official revealed that Berlin will bankroll $5.45 to be more precise, $1 billion per year to Ukraine until at least 2027. Well, I'm wondering if German society even knows about this. I don't know, because I mean, we are almost on daily basis receiving some reports from Germany, for example, that there are some difficulties in the economy, difficulties with inflation, difficulties with this and that. Industry is fleeing Germany. Many companies are shutting down. Thousands of companies, small and medium companies, are shutting down. And at the very same time, this so-called government of Germany is sending is obligating itself, or Germany, by the way, German's taxpayers, to send 5 billion euros or $5.45 billion to Ukraine at least until 2027, when Germany already did send, by the way, to Ukraine 22 billion euros. So I mean, you tell me, how crazy is this, really? And why German society is so passive? I mean, why? I truly don't understand. I mean, it's quite a long time has passed since beginning of special military operation, and if anyone in Germany did wanted to know through, they had a good enough time or opportunity to looking for additional information, additional sources of information, and then realize that Russia was provoked by NATO, by Western elites, to conduct this special military operation. And when that's the case, why should Germany, per se, send billions and billions and billions of euro to Zelensky and his associates, most corrupt regime in the world, in Europe for sure? But anyway, it is what it is, man. And by the way, we have RT's report also that most Germans do not trust the state, and this is a poll. Numbers, trust in the state has trust in the state institutions, I guess, has fallen to record low in Germany, and most of the population thinks their officials are simply incapable of doing their job. A new survey commissioned by the nation's biggest public sector employee union has demonstrated the number of people who believe that state is overwhelmed with the tasks it is facing has reached 69%. The poll, which was conducted by the Forza Institute for Social Research and Statistical Analysis, says the number of people who still trust their public officials and their abilities has fallen by 2 percentage points in comparison to the previous year and amounted to just 27%. So only 27% still trust their officials in Germany, and the rest of the population has no opinion, maybe, or distrust their officials. And why these people are not conducting some demonstrations, and why they are not demanding from government to stop sending those billions and billions to Zelensky, and instead of that to spend these billions inside Germany for citizens of Germany. I mean, is that difficult to understand that this is the right way to move? I don't know. But anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti is reporting that according to a source that did deliver some information to RIA Novosti news agency and the TASS news agency, and this source is unrevealed by these news agencies. We all know that it's a source in diplomatic and military circles. So according to this source, secret military intelligence of United Kingdom, MI6, did train and prepare unit of Ukrainian mercenaries to be sent to Africa, which is quite interesting. According to this report, MI6 and SAS, by the way, is also special force of United Kingdom, one of the best special forces that there is or ever has been, I believe. They are high level professionals, and it's quite unfortunate that they are involved in terrorist activities because of the criminal regime that runs United Kingdom right now. But anyway, according to this report, MI6 and SAS did prepare about 100 Ukrainian mercenaries to send them in Africa, and main task for these mercenaries, for this group, will be to somehow distract good relationships between some African nations and Russia. And when I was reading this information, I was thinking to myself, maybe this and by the way, these 100 mercenaries, they are selected from neo-Nazi and fascist units of Ukrainian armed forces that has significant experience in the fight, significant experience of military operations. And when I was reading this information, I was thinking maybe these criminals, these mercenaries, will conduct some sabotage actions. They may dress up like, for example, Wagner soldiers. They may be infiltrated in countries that PMC Wagner is presented, and then these Ukrainian mercenaries may commit some atrocities, and of course this will be filmed by MI6 and SAS specialists, and these all 100 of them will probably talk perfect Russian or close to perfect, and well, that's easy way for United Kingdom to create yet another reason to conduct anti-Russian hysteria in media and to somehow influence relationships between Wagner, PMC, and African states, and well, also between African states and Russia. So, you know, I guess Wagnerites and also Russian government institutions, Russian secret services, will take seriously this development and will neutralize these Ukrainian Nazis in the very first day that they will arrive in African nations that are friendly towards Russia. How long is this video? It's 30 minutes. Okay, just headlines now. And well, press secretary of White House, Karine Jean-Pierre, by mistake did a post on Telegram on the message that was, I guess, written for Biden, and this tweet was deleted after 30 minutes. Well, one may say that, wow, it's this person that is tweeting instead of Biden, and well, yes. Is anyone surprised? Really? No. Is it right? Not. It's inappropriate in my understanding. If account is called presidential account, then it's supposed to be a president who is sharing his own opinions. But well, we all know that Biden is not really capable to tweet anything, really. So no surprises there, really. No surprises. But yes, it's inappropriate. That's a fact. And this information once again highlights that in charge in US are people that never been elected by anybody. And US right now is 100%, without a doubt, run by some kind of shadow government, or whatever you're gonna call it, deep state, or you know, whatever it is. But definitely not by Trump, not by Biden. I said Trump because next news is about Trump. But currently, US definitely run not by Biden. That's for sure. Next news is about Trump, as I just mentioned, former president and maybe future president of US. And by the way, according to this information, Trump was ordered to voluntarily go to jail in Georgia state to be arrested. I mean, what is going on, by the way? What is going on in USA? I mean, I don't know. I guess Trump supporters not gonna be happy. Not just Trump supporters, by the way, but in general, US citizens that care about their state, not gonna be happy to see that major opposition politicians have been prosecuted by current regime of Biden unlawfully, just to get rid of him. I don't know. Let's see what will happen. I mean, arrest of Trump will definitely create some internal turmoil in US, I guess, because this is I mean, this is a big move. Will neocons, neolibs, and deep state, so-called deep state, go that far? I don't know. Let's see. And this is going to be last news. RT is reporting that China on track to become world's top car exporter. This is reported. This report is based on analytics from Moody's, and well, it's only a matter of time now, and China will overcome Japan in car sales worldwide, which is not surprising, really, because guess which market Japan just lost recently by decisions of Japanese government. It's a Russian market, and Japanese car manufacturers were extremely popular in Russia. They were selling hundreds of thousands of cars every year in Russia. And now this segment of Russian market is, well, is becoming more and more occupied by Chinese car manufacturers. And I'm not surprised, not at all surprised that, well, Japan is losing its #1 spot on car sales, on car market worldwide, and China is gaining that spot. Quite logical, isn't it? And who Japanese car makers have to blame? Their own government. Simple as that. And by the way, this is it for first update for today. I hope you will find this video interesting, and if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like. More comments and likes definitely influence algorithm and gives me a chance to reach wider audience. And for very same reason, please, if you can, share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, or any other platform that you are active on. And if you think this channel or project is interesting, informative, useful, and deserves to exist, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You will see links on this video in the description box. This is it for now. Take care and see you in next update.